Good morning, everyone. Last week we have talked about what is and how to write a discussion essay, and today we will talk about the criteria of assessing the essay quality. So even though the criteria we are going to talk can be applied to the other types of essay, but we will particularly focus on discussion essay. Basically, there are two common criteria. The first is the task achievement. How successful is a writing in answer to the problem or the question given. Then the language use, dealing with the quality of the vocabulary and grammar that are used in the writing. However, for the purpose of learning process in this course, let us separate them into more criteria. So the first will be the task achievement. And then the second, the idea development. Basically, it can be part of the task achievement. And then the thesis statement, it can also be part of the task achievement. Coherence, it can be part of the language use, but also can be part of the idea development. And then finally, the language use. Let's continue. The task achievement. When we assess a discussion essay, for example, we try to assess it in terms of how strong does it provide a clear issue or background of the discussion. And then how strong does the essay answer the questions. Here is a question for discussion essay writer. If you are the writer and given a couple of minutes to answer in writing, so what do you think you are going to write within a couple of minutes? Let's observe with example. Here is the first paragraph of the essay. To assess it, we need to deal with the first evaluative question. So how strong does it provide a clear background or a gap or void? Based on this paragraph, we know that the writer provides us with the issue or background of the discussion. See the words in blue color. The potential for the global media to shape the views of today's youth is considerable. However, while some commentators think that the media has no place within secondary education, other analysts defend the idea that international news should be studied at school. So we read a short but very clear issue here. To deal with the second evaluative questions, how strong does the essay answer the question, we need to read the overall essay. But with the first paragraph, we can get an impression about it. We can observe the thesis statement in paragraph 1, given in the red text. In this essay, I shall examine a number of studies which show that both viewpoints are, to some degree, justified. So it seems that the writer will discuss both views equally. But of course, to be sure, we need to read the overall essay. Let's continue. The idea development. In this part, we will focus on criticality and relevance of the writing in answer to the question. In the previous slide, we were given this question. I'm going to read it again. Some people think that secondary school children should study international news as one of the school subjects. Other people think that it is a waste of valuable school time. So what do you think? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge and experience. Given this question, we have read the first paragraph as well as part of the writing example in the previous slide. Here, only the thesis statement of the paragraph 1. Let's say that then the writer wrote the second paragraph. Here is the second paragraph. So the quality of criticality can be explored over the phrases or sentences in red color. Being critical means that the writer goes directly to the main point. The global media undoubtedly enriches teenagers' understanding of contemporary affairs. So this is the main point. And then he or she clarifies in the second sentence with reason. This sentence, this is because television reports provide concise summaries of the international affairs. Then we can read that he or she strengthened both with an example of data in the third sentence. So please remember here that using data does not automatically lead to criticality, but more on how well is the reasoning arranged in a logical sequence. Then we can see the last sentence of the paragraph. It clarifies the overall ideas by using a strong complex sentence. So you can read this complex sentence. Since any blah 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 continues with it is therefore blah 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 blah. So we can see that there is no repetition in this paragraph, and then the sentences are well constructed. Each sentence supports one to each other. So there is no overlapping ideas. So I think it is a very good criticality. Let's explore the quality of relevance in this essay. To remind us, both criticality and relevance usually comes together in writing. But to help us notice the difference, then I spared them in examples. Let's see the paragraph 2 to observe the relevance. Relevance means that the essay provides us with what is required in answer to the writing question. So if it is asking about the global media, then it shall address it in writing. If it is asking how the international news can give negative impacts to school students, then it shall explain it in writing. You can see the text written in blue color all have relevance with the question given in the writing question, and also they are relevant to the thesis statement. The thesis statement said, I shall examine a number of studies which shows that both viewpoints are, to some degree, justified. Let's see the last paragraph. In the last paragraph, the first statement is relevant with the overall paragraph. There are reasons for and against the study of news at school. So while the second sentence demonstrates criticality in terms of how both conflicting views can be resolved, you can see criticality in the red color in the last paragraph. Alright, let's explore or observe the thesis statement. So the question to deal are how strong does it indicate the thesis statement, and then how strong does it provide the main ideas for each paragraph. So in an essay, the thesis statement does not stand alone. It has to be supported by the main ideas of each paragraph. Let's observe about this. How strong does it indicate the thesis? What is the thesis or thesis statement? Let's preview our previous lessons. Please distinguish between the main idea of an essay and the main idea of a paragraph. In an essay, the main idea is written in the thesis statement, usually given in the first paragraph of the essay, while the thesis statement has to be supported by the main ideas of each paragraph in the essay. Each paragraph has also a main idea given in the topic sentence. Sometimes the topic sentence is written in the first sentence, but it can also be in the last paragraph as well. Remember that a thesis statement consists of the topic and controlling ideas. So the topic is what is it all about? In this case, the international news. So what is the controlling idea? A controlling idea is a specific idea that limits the topic. For instance, the international news is the topic. Then what is the writer going to write about the international news? That will become controlling idea. Let's continue to observe the same essay. For instance, we have this thesis statement. In this essay, I shall examine a number of studies related to both viewpoints. So here, you have learned previously that there is a strong and weak thesis statement. In this example, my question is that, is it a strong or weak thesis statement? Yes, this is a weak thesis statement. Why? Because when reading it, the readers still do not really get the exact ideas that control the topic. So the phrase related to both viewpoints is not clear where exactly to go. Let's check the second example of the thesis statement. In this essay, I shall examine a number of studies which show both viewpoints are to some degree justified. So here, different from the example in number 1, this thesis statement gives us more words. Both viewpoints are to some degree justified. So here, we have more specific information about where will the writer go in the writing. So it is an example of a stronger thesis statement because it gives us more explicit showing the content of the writing. Let's continue. How strong does it provide the main ideas for each paragraph? In this example, we can observe that each paragraph has topic sentence. For example, in paragraph 2, the topic sentence is the first sentence, while the rest sentences in the paragraph explain, clarifies, or strengthens the topic sentence. The same as paragraph 3 and 4. But the paragraph 4, since it is a concluding paragraph, it does not only provide us with a reiteration of the thesis statement in paragraph 1, but also extends it with a solution. So in this sentence, thus, if media studies are to enter schools in the future, schools will have to think about how negative aspects of the news can be decreased and positive aspects maximized. Now, assessing the coherence. Coherence is important because it is the reason why a writing can be called an essay. An essay has one main idea called the thesis statement, and everything in the essay has to be devoted to support this thesis statement. Coherence really matters here. So there are two closely related questions to assess coherence. How strong is it schematically constructed? It is usually called cohesion, so how the text internally and substantially flows well among the sentences. Then the second, how well is it linguistically constructed? So how the language used, for example, the linking words and connectors, the flows, all of the sentences flows well in coherent manner. So let us see the example. So how strong is it schematically constructed? So in this essay, we clearly find that the cohesion is excellent, indicated by the red sentences in each paragraph. From paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4, the ideas flow well. Moreover, we can enjoy the flow when reading only the main ideas. I will try to read only the main ideas. In this essay, I shall examine a number of studies which show that both viewpoints are to some degree justified. To begin with, the global media undoubtedly enriches teenagers' understanding of contemporary affairs. On the other hand, many critics argue that teenagers are negatively affected by the global media's focus on wars and civil unrest. In conclusion, it should be clear that there are reasons for and against the study of news at school. With a note here, how negative aspects of the news can be decreased and positive aspects maximized. See, we can follow the cohesion nicely while reading the main ideas of paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4. So let's check the second question. How well is it linguistically constructed? Pay attention on the words in blue. Imagine that the words disappear from the essay. So what will happen? Without these words, for example, however, in this essay, to begin with, this is because, for example, in conclusion, thus, etc., etc. So then I believe that the essay will be less coherent. So we have seen that the ideas flow well from the main ideas, right? But without these words, the essay will not well constructed in terms of the writing, the language itself. Now, still have relations with the previous criteria, the language use. When assessing the language use in an essay, we can ask these questions. Do the vocabularies represent appropriateness and accuracy in the text? And then second, does the writing represent a standard English grammar? So when we are observing the essay, we can find that the essay uses the excellent vocabularies. See the words in red, for example, the topic is the global news and it uses many relevant, excellent and also academic words that makes it highly scored. Let me highlight. For example, commentators, analysts, defense, international news, enriches, contemporary affairs, then also others such as provide, sociologies, negatively affected, violence, depression, the dismal state, and also others in red. And also not only the vocabularies are highly scored, the grammar is also excellent. See the sentences in blue, for example. The first sentence, this is an example of sentence with a long noun phrase as the subject. The potential for the global media to shape the views of today's youth, this is the subject, very long noun phrase. And then also the other example, a sentence with a long noun phrase, for example, as this the object. You can see the last sentence in the first paragraph. In this essay, I shall examine. And after that, we have an example of noun phrase as the object of the sentence. And also complex sentence with since, blah, blah, blah. It is therefore, blah, blah, blah. As given in the second paragraph, the last sentence of the second paragraph. And also, we have another example of complex sentence with thus if, then subject, then use will have to. For example, in the last paragraph, concluding paragraph, the last sentence. So, yeah, we have got an excellent examples of vocabulary and grammar in this essay. I believe that this essay must be scored highly. And I think that's all for today's lesson. I would like to end with this quote. If I waited till I felt like writing, I'd never write at all. Anne Tyler. Happy writing.